we are back, right? And we're talking about Chrisette Michele's episode.
That gotta be like in my top 2.
Ooh, it was
and it's not number
2. It was the most unexpected blessing of my for me working on the same room for sure.
No, it was so great. And I always love when we have these moments where it doesn't go how we planned. And I feel like it was the perfect unplanned, like we couldn't have planned it better.
Yeah.
Like it was literally a moment. And I feel like we got to see like someone rising. Like from the ashes, essentially.
Yeah.
Because
she was so open.
it was rough. But it felt so good to be like, man, like she didn't let what she went through define her. Like I feel like she found herself in it. And so it was really encouraging to see.
It was like a breath of fresh air to know that, wow, like people are canceling you, but you are living your life. You are showing us that God can do anything.
Yeah.
And keep you. He can keep you. Because she was so, like, I feel like somebody who experienced what she did would be bitter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there was not an ounce of bitterness in anything. Like, even the way that she sees how it happened and what happened. Like,
wisdom.
It was so good. And so much peace around, like, man, but I'm better on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I
she's
felt that.
regal. Like, I feel like when I
love
saw
that.
her, I'm like, she is a confident woman. Because to face
Very
that
confident.
level of hate from your own people, too,
Yes.
how do you continue? How do you... So I was like, that's Jesus.
No, that's powerful because, like, it was that same feeling. Like, even when she walked in, you just felt like this beacon of light just stepped in, right? And even with everything that she experienced in her life, it was the beauty is how when I met Chrisette Michele that day, I met Chrisette Michele.
Yes.
I
Amen,
met,
yeah.
like, I felt like I met her.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say the same thing if I met her years prior, right? Like, it almost felt like everything that she had been through, like, brought the fullness of her to
Her
the
real
surface.
self.
Yes.
No, not an artist, not
Nothing.
No.
It's like that's
It's like-
what she comes with.
Yeah.
But her stood
Who
out.
God intended for her to be.
Yeah.
It's almost like she needed that moment.
Yeah.
So that her full self could show up.
That's
It was beautiful.
Going through the fire and being
Yeah.
refined and letting God do his thing.
No, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
No, because even when you say, like, going through the fire, like, I feel like there are moments in life that could literally crush you or perfect you. Because there are moments when you realize, like, if this couldn't kill me,
Man.
Bro.
I'm like, whatever, like, lie that I've allowed in my mind to make me feel like, don't do this because they might not accept you. Don't do this because it might damage your career, or don't do this for whatever reason. But then you go through something that should have been the thing to kill you
Yes.
or destroy you in whatever way of the world, and you're just like, but I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that's
Devil,
who the
what's up?
devil is scared of.
Absolutely.
Yes.
People like
That's
that.
why. Yeah. That's why he don't
Yes.
want you to make it through.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Because when you come out,
It's
he's
a
like,
different- it's a
He said,
different-
hold up, wait a minute.
He said, oh, we got to regroup. We got to regroup.
Right.
Abort.
She
No.
too bright. She's shining too bright.
She
Yeah.
makes demons tremble. Like, no,
Yeah,
they take
yeah.
it off, but
It's like-
literally.
When your feet hit the ground.
It's literally, she gave me that.
Yeah.
That type of confidence.
Yeah.
No, because even just thinking about this, there's a clip, right, when she's talking about the whole cancel culture, right? Because when people think cancel culture, like, even when we were planning this episode, we were like, we want to
name.
address it,
Yeah.
right? And the first name that came up was like, we should have a conversation with Chrisette.
Yes.
And the way she even just kind of explained, her perspective on cancellation was just so powerful. But let's watch the clip.
If you want to cancel somebody, cancel them and then give them time. If you're going to cancel someone, cancel them. Walk away. If you must cancel them, you do not have to stay there and re-cancel them every day, right? Cancellations are final. The reason why it doesn't work is because you're sticking around doing it again and again. I can't. You're still watching. Let me experience this wilderness. Let me experience this cleansing. Let me really have it.
Man, that was so good, because even when she talks, she equates like that season of cancellation as the wilderness, right? That to me was just incredible because, again, perspective in life is everything. So the world is looking at it like, oh yeah, we've canceled you.
And you're finished.
You're finished. She saw it as, oh, I actually just get to be with God.
Right.
Like, this is a wilderness
Y'all don't know
season
what
for
y'all
me.
just did.
Y'all really don't know. Leave me in my cancellation.
Yeah.
Right. And let me work on me. Like, the power of that, you know. And so let's even talk about it. Have you ever felt like canceled in your life? Because what I love about her episode is that she made it so relatable, right? It went beyond like, this is just what happens to celebrities. Like, I think anyone in everyday life could see themselves, you know, in cancellation in whatever degree, right? To whatever degree. So have you guys ever felt canceled in your life? And what do you feel like God was trying to show you through that?
I'll go. I think for me, I think God allows people to be canceled. And I like that you brought that up because when we think of cancel culture, we just think of celebrities. But I say for me, like my career path, I think is one of my like biggest testimonies where the weight applied and things like that. But for me, my family canceled me in a way. Like my mom and sorry, Mom.
Oh no, Mama Pam, we sorry.
But it's like cancel's a harsh word, but I think canceled the idea of who I was becoming because who I was becoming, I didn't even know who I was becoming. And I felt that the journey God had me on, no one understood.
Yes.
So it was a lot of like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? A lot of opinions because I had to walk an unconventional path to do the will of God and do the things God called me to. So I would say in that it's not easy feeling canceled. You feel unsupported. You feel alone. But just like she mentioned, it's a wilderness where God is like, you need to realize I am enough. Because if you rely on people, validation, all these Instagram culture, you're going to continue to be empty. You're not going to live out what I have for you to live out. You're not going to be who I need you to be.
Yeah.
So I am grateful for cancellation, even though in the moment it's the worst feeling.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah, it can definitely get lonely. But just know that it's just a stage. You're not going to stay there forever.
Yeah.
God just wants to bring out the best in you. He wants to feed you what you need to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would, even like for me, I would definitely say the people that I grew up with, I've learned where to place them, like friends, acquaintances, or just like, I don't know where to place you. But I think people can cancel you, and then some people just like bring off this vibe like, I'm going to save you for later. But it's like, I need you now. And it's like, wait, are you canceling me or are you saving me for later? And I think that some people, maybe God can use these people when you reach a certain level. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
That's real. I think
that's really good. I get you.
I think for me, I kind of a little bit relate kind of to Chrisette Michele's story because she felt like she was following God to do what she did and ended up canceled. And I think for me, that's kind of when I felt canceled. Like I decided to like share my testimony or my story or something that I experienced, which what church culture would seem is like what you're not supposed to do. Like you're not supposed to uncover things that happen in church, especially to the world who don't have all the things to apply to it, which I feel like I needed to share my story because it was what God was telling me to do. And I literally lost, I probably have one friend like from that like moment where there was an entire community of people that I had. And I feel like every time someone kind of like encounters my story and maybe they react to it, I feel like I get canceled all over again. Cause it's like, if you would have never shared it and it's like, well, how about if it had never happened? Like then I wouldn't have had anything to share. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I think what God was trying to teach me is like, will what I'm asking you to do override how it makes people feel. Because sometimes following God causes you to make people uncomfortable.
Yes.
So like that sometimes it's just what it is. And I think that's what
it.
God was trying to get me to like settle in. Is like, do you care more about what people think of you than what I'm asking you to do? Yeah. And that's just like a journey I've had to learn to take. Because sometimes it's like, I do care about what they think.
Yeah, that's
true. We all do.
Yeah.
To some degree.
And I don't want people out here thinking I'm out here trying to like drag people's name through the mud, Lord. So you gotta fix it.
Yeah.
Like you gotta fix it. And I think like he will vindicate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it is something that he told you to do and it doesn't come off that way, it's like, I don't have to chase that. Like, as long as my heart is in the right place, I've learned that, like, he'll defend me.
On the back end.
On the back end. And that's what's happened. Like, people who have canceled me that I didn't even know canceled me, like, said things, done things, have come back and was like, yo, I just felt like I needed to apologize. And I'm like, oh, for real?
Yeah, that's funny.
When that happens.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing too with what you said is people never know the full story, right? So they're just judging based on, and people come up with their assumptions. One of the things that I live by is always think the highest thought, because when you
Silver. Silver lining.
She calls me Silver
because she's
Me and Stephanie, we got that in common.
A silver lining in anything.
No,
in dirt.
but
it's okay.
But it's
mean well. They don't
real.
mean...
No, but this is the reason though, because if there's a 1% chance that I'm wrong, let it be that I'm wrong for thinking well of you.
Yeah.
Right? But let it not be that I am spreading rumors that your intention was
so
bad,
good.
your intentions were malicious, and that is not the case. Because and who can be 100% right? Only the individual.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like you will never know like what a person's intentions are. And one of the things with Chrisette Michele that I loved is when she even said that the world did not know I was a worshiper.
Yeah.
So the
That
world
was
is
deep.
looking at it like,
Why would you do this?
why are you doing this
And she's
gospel
saying
record?
God
And she's
told her,
saying
like,
God. And they're like,
you know that?
we know you're a soul singer.
Yep.
You know, they
Yeah.
paid you to do this.
Right.
And when
Yeah.
she said, but they didn't know I was a worshiper. Like they didn't know the heart that was
Yeah.
coming from,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that when there's just a lack of understanding and people are so quick to get judgmental, it really destroys even the best of friends, right? And
Sorry. No, because to what you just said about Chrisette and like the world not knowing that she's a worshiper, and it made me think about how we started the conversation on how she essentially, like, you would know that after you watch this episode, you would know that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, dang, what we would consider like a wilderness or a bad place was really a grounds and a fresh foundation for her to be who God truly intended for her to be. Like he needs the world to know that she's a worshiper.
He needs to prove things.
He needs,
Whatever
you know what I'm saying?
he has to
needs
do.
the world to know. And so
yeah,
that was a horrible situation, but now the world will know she's a worshiper.
Yeah.
Like now
you
the
were
world will
missing
know.
now.
Yeah, and it's like, man, like the stuff that we think is like horrible and trash, it's like, no, it was really a foundation and like roots for me to really be who I was supposed to be all along. Because we need what's on the inside of Chrisette.
Yeah.
Like the world needs that.
No,
and I
that's
think this is a
facts.
perfect like launch pad for her to be able to now like be all that God needs her to be.
Yes.
And I think one of the beauty for anyone like who watched the episode and who would probably even watch it, maybe they listened to this before they watched it, right? Is just realizing like everyone is going to go through a wilderness season in life.
Yes.
And sometimes
We
it's
try
a
to
forced
run.
wilderness.
We try to run. Sometimes we miss out. Our wilderness is delayed. When your wilderness really blossoms you into that thing meant for you. But when we run away from it and find other routes, other ways to like distract us and like get to that thing faster our way, all we're doing is delaying what God has for
What's
us.
the shortest
It's
route?
the children of
What's
Israel.
yeah.
An 11-day journey turned into
literally.
40 years.
Man.
Lord,
Because
not
he's trying to get us in
Not
that.
me, Lord.
But and here's the thing though, even Jesus
Yeah, I
was in the
rebuke it for all
wilderness.
listeners.
Like if Jesus had to go through
Jesus.
like and the Bible even tells us that the Holy Spirit led him into the wilderness to
If
be
Jesus
tested
went, you gotta go
by
too. No,
the
I'm just
devil.
playing.
Like the God approved of Jesus to be in the wilderness, and he approved of him to be tested. And my question, honestly, like the question I asked to myself, even in that moment, is do I even recognize the test? Or am I complaining about the discomfort? Right? We are so like we've been groomed for like a life of comfort.
Like we're entitled.
Like we're
to.
entitled
Especially
to
now,
it.
everything's at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Like,
And so it's like,
Postmate,
even though something is forced, like Chrisette, she got into a forced wilderness. But if you truly believe like your life, everything about your life is intentional, is ordained by God, is orchestrated by God, then the question is not about God, why me? Why me? Why me? Why is this happening? But it's like, God, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing in me? What are you doing through me? So
Hey, y'all should just go watch the episode if you
Yes.
haven't watched it. If
Yeah.
you watched it already, just go watch it again.
It was
Because
good.
it was that good.
Yeah.
It was that good. So good.